It's about that time. You're rocking with your boy Damo Unleashed and Sky Black on the Nashville Caveman podcast. Stay tuned.
Hey, what you got in that bag? Just know that I'm up. Just know that I'm up. I gotta turn up this function, like I'm in the Lotus and punch it. All I'm gonna ask is stay in your lane, and you won't be food for my luncheon. I'm coming up out of the dungeon, cooking up plans to make something from nothing. And since I secured the bag, it's time to do math, so I'ma keep hustling. I thought I had lost my way or something. I am not feeling what they say is busting. They keep us trapping this way, disgusting. If you so happen to catch me flexing, I could be killing the stressful day for learning how to install some chromic crystals on the Escalade. Matching the arc that's on my sternum. I am for the sake of the people, grabbing my Glock and pray to the Lord, cause not everybody tryna be peaceful. I still hope we set the stage for showing them how it's supposed to be, so those that's close to me won't have to ask, hey, what you got in that bag? Just know that I'm up. Just know that I'm up. Hey, what you got in that bag? Just know that I'm up. Just know that I'm up. Hey, what you got in that bag? Let me explain what I'm talking about. Had a joint called down about it. Letting these loud mouths know how to move without sound. Best if we don't even shout out. Midwest, east, west, down south, till we get even or even above. Till then we gon' opt out and educate on the backside. Folk that I act right and they won't backslide. Just put it together no matter the weather, my fella. So hey, if you dealing with vices in you and it's cutting you up like against you, put it on chill for real, or they gon' just use it against you. What you got in that bag? Quiet water.
What is going on, everybody, man? Happy Tuesday. Let me get my seat down. All right. Welcome to the Nashville Caveman podcast show. I am one half of your host, Damo Unleashed, on this cold, frigid Tuesday. But right now, I'm ready to take out the time to roll out the red carpet for a friend of mine who is like a brother. So the floor is now yours.
Well, all right. Thanks to everybody who came out to Nashville, Illinois last Saturday, RCW. I retained my title. It's behind me some damn well. Let's see. I'll get it another time. Hell, there you go, right there. Hell. Anyway, so I told the American Giant to leave me alone. He didn't want to listen, so now he's going to be out for a while because me and my crew, we took out his ankle, took out his leg. He's walking around on social media right now on crutches. So, hey, I ain't got to worry about him no more. But it's not about me. It's about the Nashville Caveman. Tuesday is the best days of the week. I'm excited to be here tonight. The D Bling radio show will be on Thursday. Elite One radio show will be back this weekend. Hey, y'all, I'm excited. I'm just so glad that spring is coming because ain't spring starting March 21st, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so March 21st is spring. So hopefully this is the end of this cold, frigid weather. That's the good part. But the bad part is now everybody got to start cutting their grass. See, it's always a yin and a yang to everything, right? But they know my brother.
I cut my grass on Saturday. On Monday, we were seeing snow flurries. Imagine that.
Imagine that. That is crazy. So a lot of y'all are going to get sick, especially if you suffer from sinuses like me, because if it's 70 degrees one day and then the next day it's 30, that's a 40-degree drop. So I hope everybody's okay. But again, spring is here, y'all. And Damo, my friend, how have you been?
Man, I was good until the cold showed up. And you know what's so funny about it? Mm-hmm. So yesterday we were in the 30s. Do you know by Friday they're talking about the 80s?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
You know what scares me about the temperature changes?
Yes,
always a recipe for tornado season.
That's it.
This is the season where Nashville get tornadoes, and I'm telling you, man, I'm worried about that more than anything.
So y'all didn't have a tornado warning or watch a couple of nights ago? Because we
did.
The power went off. I think Sunday night it went off, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was.
So you're right.
That's scary. And it's understandable because when you think about the temperature swings that we're having, and most of the time when Nashville has tornadoes, they're in March, April.
That's it.
Remember that?
That's it. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
When that weather's starting to change, absolutely.
Also, man, a lot of students are going back to school. Did you see them tearing up Houston? They
sounds
acted
like spring break. Crazy.
Man.
That's crazy.
And,
I mean, go ahead.
You know, Scott, what I don't get is that them folks go down there, man, and they just not only the partying part, but just the having sex unprotected, dude. And Houston is the worst place you can do that at. With all the HIV and herpes case flying around there, hell no, man.
No. And see, this is why Atlanta got rid of the
Houston.
This is why Atlanta got rid of the Freaknik, because it used to happen all the time. I remember in the 90s when I was a young boy, middle school, high school, that's all they talked about was and then the Freaknik moved to Miami, and guess what? They got rid of it down in Miami. So now whatever they're doing in Houston, I guarantee you after this, the mayor is going to get rid of whatever that event is down there. You can come for spring break, but it won't be an event like that.
Yeah. Yeah, they definitely need to get rid of it, man. The SEC tournament, we just had that this past week. So congratulations to the Arkansas Razorbacks. They were victorious over Vanderbilt. And a lot of people saying Vanderbilt got cheated. I watched that game. Vanderbilt didn't look good to me. It looked like Arkansas was going to win that. So congratulations to Arkansas on winning the SEC tournament.
All right.
I also heard that they are talking about possibly bringing an NBA team franchise to Nashville. So what do you think about that?
Where are they going to put it? You know, I let a lot of people know, but my pops is, you know, he's not doing too well, so we can have prayers from my pops. I went to see him yesterday in Nashville, and yeah, it's he's probably about to transition. You know what I'm saying? But the point I'm trying to make is we just drove by the MLS. You know, if y'all don't know, Nashville has a soccer team, right?
Yeah.
Then you know they built that new stadium for the damn Sounds 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago. Yeah. Now they building the new one for the Titans, right? And this ain't including all the other construction that is going on in Nashville for apartments, hotels, warehouses. Just where would you put something like that for the NBA to come?
You know what the bad part about it is? All this construction, and yet we got potholes that you can reach down and touch the center of the earth. Man, I hit a pothole, and it's like, you know, man, I hit this pothole, Sky, and I bounced on my balls. Like, you know them little bouncy balls that we had as little kids? That had the little plastic ones, or the rubber ones that had the little handle that you hold on to, and you bounce on? I did that on Metro Center, man. I hit one of them potholes, and my balls, man, I said, man, they need to fix this stuff. I'm sick of it.
Right.
I mean, I'm sick of that.
And it's crazy because, you know, that's where your gasoline tax go to, right? TDOT, the Tennessee Department of Transportation, this is where they get their money. So if gas is at $3.50, part of that is tax. That's our taxes already included when you do gas. If that money goes to fund TDOT, to fund fixing potholes and all the other stuff they're supposed to do, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, but they got money to build buildings and bring sports teams, but they ain't got money to fix the streets. And it's crazy because if any of y'all go to Williamson County, like Williamson County is like the 16th richest county in the damn nation, you know, Brentwood, Bellevue, Belmead, over there, ain't a pothole first. I mean, them streets are great. But in Nashville, capital, like you said, the potholes, you can touch the center of the earth.
You know the worst part of it is? They got money to build these bike lanes. But then, you know, man, these potholes have been like, That's what we're riding horses. We might as well
potholes.
just ride horses again. The way these roads are built.
Hey, the Amish do. The Amish
Yeah,
people
we
do. I
might
see them
as well
all the
make
time on them horses. Yeah, absolutely. You know what, David? You should write to your congressman and tell them to create a bill called Pot for Potholes, right? Legalize recreational marijuana and take the profits from recreational marijuana to fix the potholes. Amen, David. Pot for Potholes. That's the
Hey,
name of the
David,
new bill that we need to go there.
I got an even better idea. How
Okay.
about we just grow marijuana in the potholes? They ain't gonna fix them anyway. So why don't we just go ahead and make the potholes and put crack out of the potholes?
Yeah. All right. There we go.
Man, we got a lot of crazy stuff to talk about today, y'all. So did y'all hear that 300 TSA employees have walked off the job? 300 of them.
Yes.
All right. Also, the power grid in Cuba has crashed. So Cuba, the whole island has been pitch black, except for when the sun come out. So we got that to talk about. It's a whole lot going on. One story I did not pick up was, did you see, Sky, where I guess these teenage girls went through this drive-through and the McDonald's employee got one of their orders wrong. So he went inside aggressive, got into it with them, and one of the teens shot as one of the customers that was arguing back and forth with the teenager.
No, I did not see that.
A McDonald's meal that was wrong, that they got wrong. So could you imagine sitting in jail because of a McDonald's order?
That's what we have.
That's nuts, man. That's nuts.
That is nuts. Hey, David, I did not know that David said that's a real thing that they're pushing through legislation in the Tennessee legislature. That pot for potholes is a real thing. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I was just making a joke, but that's what's up then. All right.
Well, that's good.
Shouts out to Malfunction. But yeah, that's where we at. Remember, we shouldn't be surprised. What about the dude that climbed out the crystal window and shot the customer over the damn mustard packet or mayonnaise packet? So I'm not surprised. I'm not.
That's nuts. You know what
Yeah,
else?
congratulations, Malfunction. I did. I'm so proud of you. Go ahead, Damon.
You know another big story that's coming out. Trump has, like in California, all those immigrant truck drivers, now they're not accommodating them anymore. A lot of them have lost their CDLs, and you know how on the test where they were used to be able to take it in Spanish? No, they have to take it in English. They are no longer accommodating the truckers based on their language. They got to take it in English.
That's crazy. I did not know that.
But I think that's good, because if you can't read the sign, there's no way in hell. Well, we'll talk about that. You know what I'm saying? And then Andre Williams went up to Detroit City Hall meeting and went scorched earth. I may even start the show off with that. And then this lady was talking about, and I think she made a very good point. She was talking about how a lot of people like to talk about teachers and put a lot of blame on teachers for students, but I think it's really the parents. A lot of these kids, their failure starts at home. And this lady makes some really good points. She is actually a teacher. So we're going to go ahead and get this started, man. But before we do, y'all know us. We like to get into a little bit of music. I've got some music. I've been way behind on uploading music because I have a whole lot that I'm trying to do, especially as far as the show, to advance the show. But we're going to get into some music. When we come back, we're going to talk about this, man. It's a lot to get into. If you want...
gave me life in another form. Sexing you be like crazy, like a part of a poem. Born to lead a leader, hugging her when I greet her. How does it feel to have a man and know just how to treat you? Make you feel good, don't it? Wanna get out and float it. I know your nerves be getting bad, cause I be getting on it. That's why whatever you want, I go get it, no matter the cost. Your friends be dropping the salt, but I'm playing them all, cause they don't mean nothing. They just be running their mouth, they just mad, cause they live in the bricks and I live in the house. And we hustle hard for that, and we ain't going back. They just don't know what I went through to try to get where I'm at. You think back to that shack in that old ass lack where you used to hit the block every day trying to get off that pack. When I was poor, broke, ass out, didn't wanna go home. You was the only one that had strength to keep me strong. That's why it's you and me, you and me, you and me. Out of the game, you're out of the game, yeah. You and me, out of the game, in and out of the game, yeah. I can go back, love. I can't go back, love. I can go back, love. I can go back, love. Oh baby, like Jodeci forever, my lady. You and me and you, what the deal? Between both of us, you know we sure to make a meal. Can you feel what I'm saying? I gotta fall on my knees to pray. Things go right, I just might reminisce about the first time I seen you and the first time we kissed. Shit, we used to go half up on the sack, half up on the yak, half up at the tank, half up at the bank. We used to hit licks together, flip together. Shit, we went from chips to cheddar. Who better? Trying to be a foundation for us to build. From the bottom to the hills, from the ocean to the field. Ain't real. That's why I feel the way I feel. The sign sealed, delivered sincerely, we will. I can hold back love, I can go back love, I can go back love. Love, you and me, you're out of the game, you're out of the game. You and me, out of the game, girl. I can go back love, I can go back love, I can go back love. I can go back love, I can go back love, I can go back love. I'm giving it to you, cause you display the truth. Everything that I'm trying to do, you trying to do it too. It's hard to tell you, but I cheated with some rats on the road while you was giving me everything. I was treating you cold. Man, it's been hell and hot water and back with my cat. From short stacks to fat, from pintos to lax. I'm back, and how the hell I make it this far? You may not like the did, but you love me now. No more clouds or rainy days, just sunshines in your smile. Meanwhile, we've been focusing on building a new house, on a new route for more clouds, steady repping the new south. Ain't no doubt them gold niggas hate to see what you bout, because it's you and me, you and me, in and out of the game, girl. It's just you and me and you and me, in and out of the game, girl. You and me. I can go back love, I can go back love, I can go back love. No, I can go back love, ooh, baby. You and me, yes. Me and you and me and you, baby. Me and you and me and you, sugar. You and me and you and me, baby. You and me.
Look, guys, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna go talk to Aldous.
All right, we are back, man. Let me go ahead and get into some of these crazy stories, right? So I think the first thing that I want to get into is this dude went scorched earth. And I agree with every word he say, but me and Sky, we're going to talk about this anyway.
Hey,
This
Damo
is
Malfunction is
Andre
asking you a
Ward,
question.
Gore's
You
hitter.
hear me? You hear me, Damo
Say that
Malfunction
again?
asking you a question. Huh? Malfunction is asking you a question. He
Hold
said,
on,
how
let
do
me,
I
let
get
me
one of
go.
my tracks played for you to play?
Tell him to either email you or send it to me. Tell him
Yeah,
to
send
send
it to
me the
me or
link
Damo.
in my inbox.
Yeah, so you hear that, Malfunction? Just send me or Damo the link. All right, go ahead, Damo.
Is he talking about, he's talking about like a video like we just played?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, all he got to do is send me the link. I can go and rip it off of YouTube and then just play the song. I would love to.
Okay.
I would love to play one of your songs. Hell yeah! Just send it to me or Sky. All right, man. So, dudes go scorched earth. I absolutely agree with him. But I think we still need to go ahead and play this. I think this was a brilliant, like, the way this guy articulated this to them. I think it was brilliant, but he was absolutely right in everything he said. So, without further ado, here we go.
My name is Andre Williams from Detroit, Michigan, 1160 Homecombe, Detroit, Michigan. I'm a political content creator for about 300,000 followers on Instagram, with 50,000 on X. I talk about the black community and the problems with black people in America, aggressively. We look at immigration in this country. Historically, immigrants did not build America. It was blacks and whites that built America. All right, that's a fact. You can sit back and talk about stolen land, but you benefit from the stolen land. You benefit from being in this country. There's no other country you'd rather go to. With that being said, I'll bring my black American perspective on this immigration issue. I don't want people in my country that are incompatible with our way of life and existence. Immigration, statistically, lowers wages. Big billionaires, big corporations, both parties, use illegal immigration for their own benefit to stay in power. And we get nothing. The working class gets nothing. It hurts working class, white and black communities every time. We've seen it over and over again for the last 40 years. In 2060, black people, who are currently 13% of the population, will be only 15%. Whites will be under 50%, and Hispanics will be 30%. They're currently 21%.
Damn.
This is a great replacement, and the first people being replaced are black people politically, economically, in our communities. No, I don't support illegal mass immigration. I don't support any of these policies. They're destroying our country. And I'm sitting in a room of weak, white men and women that are letting the country go. You think the country's gonna be better because you've got more, food to get at a store, or you got more cuisines? You're doing this because you want to feel good. That's why. You're doing this because you want to have some good feeling. I'm helping out the minorities. Give me a break. No, you're not. You're killing yourself. You're slowly allowing your civilization, your identity to be eroded. And then you're going to sit back and drag other black people and bring us out as the token blacks to support these policies, which directly affect us in major cities. We suffer from it. We're not benefiting from it. We're not going to gain anything from it. When Hispanics become the majority in this country from illegal immigration because they have a higher birth rate and because blacks and whites don't want to have stable and strong families, we sit back and we allow our families to be extremely dysfunctional in our own regard. When these people come to our country, they're not coming for a better way of life. They're coming for two reasons. For economic opportunity, because guess what? Their country doesn't have it. And also because we support foreign countries that destabilize their countries and allow these people over here and advocate for these people being over here. I'm going to mention Israel, America's greatest enemy, not ally. So to sit here and have white men and women, along with black people, I'm seeing on TV constantly support these policies, you are slowly destroying this country. Black Gen X, you're slowly destroying this country. White Gen Xers slowly destroying this country. White millennials that want to sit back and talk about they're for the working class, they're for socialism. Well, guess what? Of course. Well, guess what? Stalin and Mao, they deported millions of people. We don't talk about the Holocaust. You know what? I wish I was the Gestapo. We get these people out quicker. I don't want people in my country who are here to economically and politically replace the people who built this country for generations. My family's been in this country for generations. My family didn't come off a boat in the last century. They were brought over here, sold by Jews and Arabs, brought over here into the southern states. And they worked very hard for this country to be what it is today. But now we have weak people in power that want to feel good, that want to sit back and try to swindle us and fool us as if they care about these people. If you actually care about these people, you go after the mass corporations that use these people for cheap labor, both Democrat and Republican. If you actually care about these people, you wouldn't sit back and try to pander to them to get them to vote for you every election. You would actually serve the people's interests, fixing the failing infrastructure, fixing the dysfunctional schools, providing incentives for people to have families, strong and stable families. We're not having that in this country. We're sitting here crying about 2 people that got killed when we have millions of people in our country that are homeless. We're crying about people who stood in the way of us solving a massive issue, not just in this country, but across all the Western world, Western civilization. Listen, you can sit back and look at me and say, why is this black man up here defending this? Because I live here. This is my country. I serve my country in the 82nd Airborne. I love my country. My family's worked very hard for this country. My grandfather's 44 years in the Navy, 20 years for the city of Detroit as an EMT, a doctor with a PhD in anatomy and physiology. My mother, working in real estate and insurance. My father, deceased. A hardworking American family. Generations of Black Americans have worked very hard, and generations of white Americans have worked very hard. And for us to give up what we have, for us to give up what we've built, is a great tragedy. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so there it is.
Well, that was a mouthful. The only thing I can say about that, good luck with the corporations, because they got a lot of money and a lot of lobbyists, not only on Capitol Hill, but in every state that they're trying to finesse in. It's just always been that way. You know, the employer wants to pay less and get more. The employee wants to work less and make more. There's always been that balance right there. So whether you get rid of immigration, you send people back home, you don't let people who can speak English stay in the country or work jobs, there will always be Americans, Black or white, or no matter, who are still going to be exploited. They're going to be Black and white Americans, whoever that run corporations, they're still going to exploit American people. It's easier to exploit somebody who barely speaks this language, who comes from another country and don't know our culture just yet. I can tell you, hey, $5 an hour, you a millionaire when you come from a country where you're making 25 cents an hour. But you send them back, then for us, we think we want $25 an hour, and they like, well, we just ain't gonna hire you. We'll just work less. You know, the little people, the skeleton crew we have, we'll just outwork them until they die. So I understood most of the stuff he was saying, but as far as trying to break that system, what I just said between employee and employer, or what he's saying corporations exploit, they're going to always exploit people, whether you are fully American, half American, or you just ain't American at all. They're going to always exploit people. And until you get rid of that mindset at the top, then I don't know what he's looking for.
I think that's what he was getting at specifically, though, when he was saying that they are actually slowly like killing what made America great. You know, all the things that people talk about or their thought of what makes America great, it's all being sold off and being pilgrimage, little by little. You know, there is this savior complex to a lot of, and I've noticed it with a lot of liberal Caucasians that, oh, well, you know, a lot of times the best way to help is to get out the effing way. That's it. Get out the way. You know, I think a lot of people, they need to say themselves. First and foremost, the one thing that he made a good point about is a lot of them, when they come over here, they believe in family. That's the one thing I've learned as I study, man, Hispanics, is they really believe in family unity. As in Black and whites, we're not really so strong in that. You know, for the most part, Hispanics, when they have babies, they don't get rid of their children. They have them. You know what I'm saying? Dad around or not. In our community, we at the abortion clinic, I made this video, and I know I pissed people off when I said this. You know, because they had the midterms, the Democrat primaries, and they was mad because Jasmine Crockett didn't get in. And I said, don't be mad. Y'all aborted a lot of her potential voters. A lot of her potential voters were aborted. And so, you know, man, they are making it eat. They are replacing the Black community. The Black community don't realize it. You know what I'm saying? Joe Biden said as much when he told the Black caucus that, hey, you guys need to work with Hispanics because they're going to be the majority. They're going to be the majority in the latter years. He even said that whites was going to be the minority. Think about that. And they telling y'all what they do. And so, yes, illegal immigration is not immigration. Illegal immigration has never helped anybody in either community, Black or white. Hell, It don't even help the Hispanics in their community. Illegal immigration is wrong all the way around. We'll talk about this Iran war. You know, people are afraid, Sky, of getting drafted, and I had to tell them in the video, you don't have to worry about being drafted because they're over here. They're at your schools. They're at your jobs. They're in your grocery stores, your movie theaters. We just had, you know, man, when they went against shootings or bombings and anything, they're right here. We got people from all countries who have cells, right? They have terrorist cells. You don't think they're here at home? It's like you're worried about what's going on. You're worried about what's going on over there. You better be worried about what's going on over here. Because you can be somewhere just like at that bar where that man went down there. He had a weapon and he took out all them folks in the name of Allah Akbar. Man, that stuff is in here. So, you know, man, illegal immigration has never been good for anybody. It's not good for us as far as resources. It's the reason why the housing market is up. Look at the prices of houses. Man, they were talking about there are people selling bedrooms. They're renting out bedrooms for $1,000 a month. Think about that. Sky, we come from an era where we were younger. We can go and get a one-bedroom apartment for $400 or $500. They got to pay $1,000 for one bedroom. Imagine that. Or they got to live with roommates. Back then, we can buy an apartment and not have to have a roommate. So it's getting bad for their generation. Matter of fact, Sky, I think it's over. I think it's over for their generation because now they are forcing people that you're going to have to get married to survive. So when he's telling them that y'all are slowly killing the American dream and what makes America so great, he's absolutely right. If you don't believe me, look at the younger generation and how hard it is. They can have 2 jobs and still not be able to afford an apartment by themselves. That tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah. I mean, that it can add to it, but you know, I just believe that eventually a lot of this stuff is going to happen. Even if you get rid of all the illegal immigration, with the illegal immigration is happening much quicker. But getting to a place where a room, just a room in a house, is going to cost you $1,000. That was coming anyway because money is worthless. It's not backed by gold or silver. And then even if we get rid of all the illegal immigrations, the way people are having babies sometimes, even though the birth rate has dropped, the more people you bring in this country on this earth, stuff is going to get higher and higher. So yes, illegal immigration has speeded it up. I will agree with that 100%. But
that's the whole point.
Man,
that's the whole point. It was eventually going to get like this because we got greedy politicians.
Yeah.
Because they get all this funding and money from our money, and then it never go. We never see it. We never see anything improve. We were just talking about it 15 minutes ago. Have the roads improved? No. All this building has programs grown? No. There's less and less programs. So we're taxed over and over and over, yet we don't see anything getting better. So politicians, you're right, Sky. Politicians are going to get us to where you're talking about. But they speeded up the process with illegal immigrants. Because now, now we're competing with people who aren't from here. They're giving them houses. There was a family that came here, and within 2 years, they had from a program were homeowners. Where could we go and do that at? Is that even fair? All the homeless and all the people who are struggling to even buy a house or qualify for a house.
Mm-hmm.
So it goes into the whole piece of theory. We got 8 slices and it's 8 of us, but we all get a slice. That one slice will fill us up. But if you go and invite 24 more people for that same size pizza, all of a sudden we all hurting now.
Mm-hmm.
You take that, to 24 and turn it into 48.
Right.
Now you really don't have nothing. That's illegal immigration in America.
Right. Well, this is the hill we live in, right? So two things can be true at one time. Everything you're saying can be true, and this what I'm about to say can be true too. Even everything you're saying is true, but I also say that a lot of these people are looking at illegal immigrants or people that don't belong here as the patsy, simply because when you get rid of all these people and send them back, right, and you're still struggling and you still have homeless and money still ain't buying this and houses are still $1 million, then you have to look at yourself in the mirror. See, that's why a lot of people don't want the illegals to go, because we can blame everything on them. We can blame everything on them. But then when you get rid of all of them and life is still hard, who do you blame? Then you got to look yourself in the mirror and say, oh, it's me. So even with the Black community, if everything went our way 100% and they gave us everything we need, we still gonna be terrible because they don't care. The Blacks just don't care. They're not gonna pick up a book. They're not gonna research. They're not going to want to work. They're not. So if a culture don't care and don't want whether you have illegal immigrants or not, there's no saving the Black culture, because now this new generation, they don't care. They don't. I was just watching videos about people talking about quitting their jobs. They didn't have a second job. They just quit because they just don't feel like working. They don't feel like going to school. They don't feel like being a part of the community. So right now, it's easy to say we're going to blame it on y'all. But okay, when y'all are gone, then who can you blame it on?
I don't even think it's a Black culture deal. I think it's an American culture.
Yeah, it's spoiled. People are just spoiled.
Because I think the thing that makes America strong is also the thing that makes it very weak.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And what I mean by that is some things just don't mix. Like, all due respect to anybody that's in Islam, but Islam does not mix with Christianity. And America was built primarily off of Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they're welcoming to all these other groups, but there's hatred being taught in certain religions, and it just doesn't mix. Right. And so that's the issue. America is like, man, it's like we're the Trojan horse. Mm-hmm. We are the Trojan horse. The soldiers is sitting here. When they had this last migration, you didn't see a lot of women and children. Right. You seen a lot of healthy, middle-aged men. That's a problem. You see what I'm saying? Because now you're seeing these crimes. There was a woman in New York who was set ablaze on a train in public with a police officer standing there, and a dude just lit her on fire and watched her burn. Now, when in the years, this was in the last 3-4 years. When have we ever seen that prior to in the last 20 or 30? That's some new age stuff.
It is.
And so that's, that's the issue. You know what I'm saying? Either we gonna stand for rules or we not. As far as the culture stuff, you're right. At the end of the day, it's gonna come down to, and I always tell people in this next story, this is why I want to bring this, because this woman talks about this, and I think this is important. A lot of our shortcomings start at home. Mm-hmm. They start at home. Mm-hmm. And without further ado, I want y'all to listen to what this woman is saying, because I agree with her wholeheartedly. You know what I'm saying? Of why we're in, especially in the Black community, why we're in the situation that we're in. So, without further ado, let me go ahead and play. This is a teacher that made this point. And I think she hit the nail right on the head. Right on the head, y'all. This is uploading. Thank you to all my Bigo that's tuned in, man. I appreciate y'all. I really appreciate y'all being here. All the people that's on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. Mm-hmm.
predominantly white school is not inherently better. I got into the schools and I realized these teachers weren't doing anything revolutionary. What was different? The difference is that the kids were coming to school more prepared. That looks like kindergartners not just coming to school reading, but coming to school reading on a first or second grade level because their parents have created this literacy rich culture in their homes. They're overhearing these conversations. They're coming to school not just counting to 10, but counting to 20 in multiple languages. And so there's this head start, not because the teachers are doing anything. And again, this is not to take away from phenomenal teachers because I am one, but it just means that when parents bring their children to school prepared, it makes.
So there it is.
There it is.
And she
And so
absolutely
both sets of kids, right? Because when I was younger, when adults got together, kids had to leave the room, right? So
Yeah.
both sets of kids are listening, right? So I'm just assuming from her what she's saying. This is just from what she's saying. Young white kids will walk into a room full of adults and they might hear conversations about the stock market and how to invest and, be 10 years old and saving $1,000 and all this stuff. Black people, we walk in there and they gossiping, they cussing, they mad at the world. They're not answering the phone because it's a bill collector. They trying to find out which baby daddy they can get money out of. So that I can agree 100% what she's saying because I know what the conversations are like when you walk into some of those. Not all, and not all white people are the same. Some of them talk like black folks do. But I understand what she's saying that they're prepared. They don't let those kids watch a lot of the things that the black community let their kids watch. They make sure that when they play on tablets, they get an hour of fun time and an hour of learning. They go to it's like a military regiment. They go to bed at a certain time. They wake up at a certain time. They read to these kids. If those kids have a question, they're there to help. If they need help with math, okay, let me help you. You go to a black home and the mama ain't even graduated out of high school. How the hell she gonna help you with math and all this stuff? Then you put your child in front of the TV and they watching BET and all this at 10, 12 years old. But the white child over here, he's reading and understanding and comprehending. And now he's going out with his granddaddy. He's fishing. And his granddaddy's teaching him how to fish and how to learn and how to be prepared for the world. How many black people literally go out and go fishing? They don't. How many of them even hang with their grandparents? They can't because their parents have issues with their parents, which means the kids don't even hang with their grandparents. So she's right. It's a whole different culture, Damo. And that's what I was saying about the last video. Even if America was perfect, if people are not building homes, if the daddies are not staying, if they're out here having 33 kids with 30 baby mamas and all this stuff, it doesn't matter. The only good thing about having illegal immigrants is that we can blame somebody. We ain't got to look in the mirror. When they are gone, then we have to look in the mirror and blame ourselves. So when people talk about the Democrats and the liberals and all this stuff, wanting to keep them here, yes, it's probably for votes too, but it's to blame somebody else. Oh, it's them over there. But if you let them go, then we got to look in the mirror and blame ourselves. So yeah, this was a great segue into what that lady was saying. The teachers are not doing nothing great. It starts at home. And I believe that 100%.
I think this all ties into this. People take care of others before they take care of home, which is why their homes are messed up, right? They prioritize everything else but their homes. I want to say this in regards to that teacher's comments, and I'm a firm believer in this, right? There are young black kids who are very bright and intelligent. They can quote a full song, word for word, and do not know their ABCs or their 1, 2, 3s.
Come on, yep.
They are behind when they get to school when it comes to reading. There's a lot of Caucasian, Asian kids that when they go to school, they're not only, I'm talking about at kindergarten, they're not only at first grade reading level, many of them are at second grade reading level. We have children in our community who are fifth graders and aren't even at first and second grade reading levels. Right. So is it the teacher or is it the parent? It's the parent. And then what it is a lot of these folks, they don't care about their kids. They don't care one bit. Because if they did, they would have them prepared. If they did, they would say, no, this dude is not responsible. I'm not having no kid with this dude. I don't care how big his junk is. I don't care how great he looks. I don't care how good he smells. He can't keep a stable job. He hasn't shown me that he's capable of being responsible in any way, form, or fashion.
Come on.
Why would I want to have a kid with this dude? And yet, Sky, a couple months ago,
it's just a generational curse.
It's a curse. But the thing that makes it a curse is we don't acknowledge it. We don't shame it. I think certain things in the community deserves to be shamed. I think we are at that point. We need to shame. There's people, if you're walking around, your kid 5 years old, and they still in the baby carriage, you need to be shamed. If they still in the diaper, you need to be shamed. And I'll say this to the day I'm gone. If you can't raise the kids, give them to someone who can. It's that simple.
Yeah, but they don't want to do that. And a lot of these girls that are 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 years old, having kids at such a young age when they still kids themselves, that just comes from their broken home. So to me, is who wants the curse, right? Because you can come out of a home full of bad juju is what I'll use, but somebody will stop it, right? Somebody say, I'm not living that life. I'm doing something different. And that's the problem. Nobody wants to say, I want to be the one that's going to stop whatever has been going on. You know what I'm saying? Well, some people will, but a lot of them don't. So if we're going to shame them, we got to shame them before they even open their legs. We should have to, as soon as they turn 18 and walk out their house, they should take an aptitude test on whether they should be parents or not. And if they can't be parents, I think you should have a license on whether you should be a parent or not, right? If you can't pass this test, then you should not be able to bring kids into this world. So we have to shame them from the time that they're able to start reproducing and before they have the children. So that way we ain't worried about them bringing children into this world that is 10 years old and can't read. But they can rap Bootsy's music, Bootsy, right? Lil Yachty, Lil Uzi Vert, they can rap those songs, right? But they can't read enough to get passed on to the next grade. So why should we wait till they come on earth to deal with the problem when we should take these young girls as they coming off the porch, as the YNs would say, jumping off the porch, and figuring out where they're at mentally and tell them, hey, you're not mentally ready. So you will be punished for having children, A, out of wedlock, and B, when you're not ready, and C, choosing a dude that ain't ready. I believe that would help.
I got two solutions. I got one solution for illegal immigration, and I got one for also fixing this whole problem where she's talking about. I think schools, the money that they get, the funding that they get should be based on how well the kids are doing. Because the purpose of the school is for children to learn. So if the children, if they aren't, depending on how they're excelling, that's how much funding you're going to get. So teachers, if you want to raise, then the students going to have to, they're going to have to test higher. You don't like that? Too bad. Go get into another profession. But funding should be based on how well the schools are doing. And if the parents don't like that, then I suggest you invest more time into your kids' education. Simple as that. As far as illegal immigration, Trump can fix that real quick. You know what I would do? Somebody suggested this, a black person suggested, and I thought it was brilliant. Tell all the illegals that if you vote for him, he will grant you citizenship. And then let's see how fast they want to get him out of here. Grant them all. Say, hey, if you register as a Republican and you vote Republican, you have and you show proof that you voted Republican, you have clean bill of citizenship. And then let's see if we have an illegal immigrant problem. Then let's see if they want to give them, funding and all that. Let's see how that works then. You know what I'm saying? So these problems can be fixed. It may not.
Well, the first one they do
be fixed, but that's what I would do.
Well, the first one they do kind of do is call an endowment. Yeah, the first one is called an endowment. Some schools, the first one, some of them they do fix is called an endowment. Depending on how the kids are testing, they do get funding that way. It's called an endowment. So some schools do get that for that. But even if that's the case, the teachers hold these kids 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. That means they still got to the parent. They still got to go home, and over the weekend and the summer, if the kids are not being prepared, because there was one point in time in life, summer vacation was not vacation. I don't know who came up with that crap. Summer vacation was summer for your parents to get you prepared for the next grade. Right? When 7th grade ended in May, then you had June, July, and August to get prepared for the 8th grade. Somebody said, well, this is summer vacation. Let's go have fun. I don't know who. And that's when it all went down to decline. Because you can't stop me learning in May. And all my years, I'm just fishing, having fun. And I have lost everything I've retained in the 7th grade. And then I'm going to go into the 8th grade, and I'm going to struggle. And summer school was for the people who getting past 7th grade and need to get in the 8th grade. Well, if the parents are not preparing them for the 8th grade, they're just preparing to go to Disneyland for 8 weeks and all this stuff, then what are they supposed to do when they get into the 8th grade? So even if you did go, hey, teachers, if you want to raise to do this, once the kids are out of their hands for the summer and spring vacation and fall vacation and all these damn vacations they get now, it ain't going to do them no good.
I tell you what I would do. The amount of food stamps you get, the amount that you get on your tax return will be based on how well your kid is doing in school. And then let's see how this stuff shape up. You know what I'm saying? The amount of food stamps you get gonna be based on where your kid falls in testing.
No, we're not favored. We're not testing young men to be able to be a father and a provider. So yeah, if they need to have aptitude tests too. But somebody I was talking to, and this is what she said. She said, I am the primary grandmother. And I was like, what is a primary grandmother? Because I have the daughter, right? And the kids usually spend majority of their time with who? The mama. So when her sons was having kids, she was not the primary grandmother, because you know how it goes. The whoever the daughter is, that mama is the primary grandmama, right? So that's what I'm trying to say with this, Faith, is if you even want to try to make it an even swindle thing that men and women should be doing the same, it will never be that way. It's always a double standard. Women have to understand you are the one that has to carry this baby for 9 months. You are the one at the end of the day, might, not always, might have to be the one to raise this child by yourself. So I get it. Every woman wants to say, well, we got to hold the men accountable too. True, I agree with that 100%. But in 9 months, I can go out and do whatever I want. You the one got to go to the doctor, take prenatal care, get feet swollen, and do all this stuff. I'm free to roam. So that's why I put a little bit more of the burden on women, because you're the one that's got to take the majority. And then you got to pop this child out. Yeah, we talking about C-section, scarring, all this stuff, postpartum depression. So I don't want women to always think that I'm always bashing women when it comes to parenthood and having babies. But the way God made you, because a lot of y'all are God-fearing people, the way God made you, he made you to take the burden of the baby. So that's why I said the woman should be the first one to have the aptitude test, because you're the one that has to do the majority of the work. And I don't understand why people don't get that. Yes, men should be held accountable. Yes, but it's a difference. If you're going to come into my home, I'm going to be held more accountable than the visitor. So with a woman, if I have to put the seed in you, you have to be more accountable for your home, aka the womb, than I would have to be, because you're the one that has to carry all this burden. So that's why I say the things that I say. I don't want people to always think that I'm trying to just bash women and make it be on women. But the way you're born, the way God created you, when it comes to children, you have to take the majority of the burden. So that's why you have to be more smarter than the man that you lay down with.
I would say this. I would choose that side of, the men, of the women, if they took away the women's right to choose the men. Because when it comes to choosing men, women are absolutely horrible. They're horrible. I think the more rights they gave them as far as like their ability to choose men, the worse it got for them. The great grandmothers who didn't really choose their men, the father chose for them women actually had marriages. And then the women now would be like, well, them women weren't happy and this and this and that. Well, it was never about. When you decide to have a family, happiness, your happiness goes out the door. It comes all down to the family. See, people, my issue with a lot of, and why I go back and forth with a lot of women, is they prioritize their happiness over the family. The family becomes more important. See, when it was more, when the women had more, less rights, then I would be more on their side. To say, all right, man, y'all got to do better. Y'all got to do this, y'all got to do that. But as you said, the women now pick the dudes that they want to be with. And let's be honest. There's a Memphis rapper that got 32 kids, 33 was it, by 24 women. So that's one bad dude, one horrible dude, but 24 horrible women. Because you mean to tell me them women didn't know that guy had multiple babies elsewhere, and they still decided to sleep with him. And that's the issue. And that's the issue. You know what I'm saying? As long as I got a baby out of this, I don't care if the baby have a daddy around or whatnot. I think if they allow men to go back to choosing, fathers to choose who their daughters are with, then I'll be more back on the women's side. But as long as women got the choice to choose, then it's on them. Yes, dudes need to be better, but a lot of these women are raising the same dudes that the next generation of women are having kids with. They're raising these bad dudes.
It's a cycle. It is.
Yeah, they're raising them.
And I'm not against sex. It's just like he said. Where's the protection? If you know this man already has 30, if you know they have 34 kids, this one man has 33 kids, why are you having unprotected sex? That's just me.
People just bad judges of character. That's what it is. And then when it don't work out, it's, the other person's fault. But then you have to look and ask yourself, well, damn, what was it in me that made me choose them?
Right.
Because, I get it. Some people change. But a tiger don't change his stripes overnight.
Joe don't.
He don't. So you have to ask, well, damn, man, what the hell did I choose in that person? Where did I go wrong in choosing that person?
Right. And that's why I'm with you, Damo. And that's why I hate when the females attack him, because, again, you're the home for the baby, right? So that's like if I come over to Damo's house and I do something and the police come, I have to take responsibility for what I did, but the majority of them's going to be on him because that's his house. They're going to be like, well, Damo, why did you get Sky Black in here? Sky Black has been to jail. Sky Black has had these problems. Sky Black is known for stealing. You let him in the house, even though he committed whatever happened, you knew before you opened that door what type of person Sky Black was. And even if you didn't, Damo, you didn't vet Sky Black enough to say, hey, does this guy actually belong around me and my family? That's what I'm saying about the woman's uterus and womb. Have you vetted these men enough to say, hey, you have deserved entry into my vaginal home? And that's just the double standard we live in. It's just like with child support. There's a lot of men.
When I talk to men, I'm going to tell you, Sky, when I talk to men, women don't understand. My conversation with men is totally different than my conversation with women. When I talk to men, I tell them this. I tell them, focus on you. Focus on bettering yourself physically, financially, mentally. Don't focus on women. If the woman is not going to get with your program, then simply find another woman. You don't have to deal with that woman. If she wants to be in her energy, whatever her energy in, and it doesn't match where you're trying to go, it's simple. Don't deal with her. Find somebody else. And a lot of women don't like a dude like me telling other men that. I tell them, you ain't got to put up with that. It's just like if I go to a grocery store, there's certain brands of bread. I don't have to choose one specific brand of bread. If I don't like the ingredients in that bread, I got other choices that I can choose from. That's where you get these conversations of, the passport bros and all this other stuff, right? I tell the dudes, man, don't focus on doing you, building you up. And if the female don't want to get with the program, then just let her be. If she's mad and bitter or whatever she is in the end, then she got to figure that out. But as far as you got options. Because I tell women this all the time. Man, women be like, well, I'm gonna study, I'm gonna get my college degree, and I'm gonna get this, and then I'm gonna look for a husband. And I tell them this all the time. Well, you don't have as many options as you think. Because by the time you're ready for marriage, most of the men are already married. Most of the men have records, criminal records. Most of them have multiple kids with multiple women, and wherever they lay their head is their home. Most of the men don't even like women. They like men. And then the other men, they just don't even want to deal with women. They be like, man, it's just too much trouble. Too much drama. It's another mouth to feed. You know what I'm saying? In the end, family court is not going to support me. You know what I'm saying? So I can go and build a life with this woman, and she can one day wake up not happy and take everything. So I just don't want to deal with it at all. So when y'all look around the landscape, a lot of women don't even have the options that they think they have.
No.
So, man, at the end of the day, you're going to have to find a dude who you feel like going to be able to lead you in the right way and then go with that guy. A lot of dudes don't want to enslave women. You know what I'm saying? I don't know where that whole narrative is. A lot of dudes just want women to get with the program and just ask themselves, what is really important? Is it your happiness? Because if it's your happiness, you don't need a man to be happy. Go off and be happy. You know what I'm saying? Because, man, if you want to get with the dude, you're going to have to sacrifice something. It's already evident that he's sacrificing. He's sacrificing everything. Because if it don't work, guess what? You get custody of the kids and you get half of what y'all built together. Family court does not. I got a friend who had his child. He had custody of his kid. The mother was unstable. I ain't gonna say a friend, an associate, right? And every time they would catch the mother and put her on child support, she quit that job and do the same thing dudes do. And then it take them years to find her. But they didn't track her down as harsh as they tracked it if it would have been him.
That's right. That's the point I was trying to make. Yes.
They would have tracked him down a little bit more harsh. So because family court doesn't really benefit men, I'm gonna tell y'all now. In my conversation with a lot of men don't even want families. They don't even want marriage. It ain't got nothing to do with the conversation that y'all hear on the internet with Kevin Samuels and these other ones that y'all think planted these seeds in these men's heads. A lot of these seeds were already in men's heads. They just can't speak to women because women, they don't listen to understand. They listen to respond. You can't have communication with a lot of women because they don't listen to understand. They listen to respond. And dudes, man, when you out fighting the world like me, man, I got so much going on, bro. Working a 9 to 5, trying to sell fragrances, man, trying to do this, trying to do that. I'm up against the world. One thing I'm not going to do is when I come home, I'm not going to battle the person I'm with. That is not going to happen. That's not. A lot of these dudes, I feel bad for them because they don't have peace at home. So if I'm them, the younger dudes, I tell them real quick, your way or no way. And if other people don't like that, they could go and be single. They could be single their whole life. When they hip fall out and they laying on that bathroom floor and they talk about, they need one of them call systems, or nobody coming to check on them, it's on them. Because it could go that way for us too. But I think a lot of men there's a lot of single dudes out here. I'll promise you. Well, we all got, you ask the men. There are men that got single associates and friends. They don't even want marriage. They don't even want a relationship. They rather pay for it than deal with it. They rather pay the girl to leave. Tell me I'm lying. Men in the comments, if y'all.
Well, that's what I was trying to say, Mo, about the double standard. That's what I was trying to say about the double standard. Women will get mad about what we say about pregnancy, birth, and taking care of children, but then they don't want to get mad about the family courts. See, the family courts is on your side, right? But then you won't get mad when we talk about the actual pregnancy of a child. That's on your. See, so in this world, there's a double standard. So it's okay for you to get mad talking about, well, the father should be responsible, this, and that. But then what about these deadbeat mamas that don't take care of their children and running from child support? You don't never hear women talk about that.
You know what, Sky? They always say why don't the fathers, but they never say why don't the husbands.
Right.
They tell you everything you need to know.
Mm-hmm.
Why is the conversation, well, why don't the husbands take care of their kids? Why is it always why don't the fathers? Why are these men becoming fathers before they're becoming husbands? That's the problem. That's it. It should be, the conversation should always be, these husbands need to take care of their families, not these fathers. So, you know what I'm saying? For my ladies out there listening, if y'all want me to be on your side of this argument, can y'all start saying that these husbands should be taking care of their children and not these fathers?
Mm-hmm. I can agree. I can agree with that somewhat. Yes, that is the narrative. But again, these folks, I always tell you, the number one drug in the world is sex. Everybody might say weed and cocaine. I said no, sex is, because it's the easiest access to addiction you could have. And folks, when it comes to sex, they ain't thinking about marriage. They ain't thinking about their children. They ain't thinking about. I've seen people have sex in cars. To get to that dopamine high, it's the worst thing ever. And that's what's breaking a lot of these broken homes, is because the insatiable feeling of sex is more greater than the logical thinking of what could happen after sex.
I can't even front, Sky. I done did all that. But
you did all that?
I always protected myself. That was it, man. I don't know. When I was young, I was just like, I can't have kids with someone that I can't see marriage with. That got to come first. And that needs to be the mindset, man. But it's not, and especially in our community. We're talking about great men. There's always exceptions to the rule. But if we're talking about the majority, people celebrate baby showers more than they celebrate weddings.
And I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that.
Why are there so many fathers and not enough husbands? Answer me that. I need somebody to explain to me, you know what I'm saying? Before they want to hold all these, because, it'd rather be, and I say the same with men. I tell a dude this. You talk about my baby mama, what about your wife? You did that. Why isn't that the conversation? Were these baby mamas better? Why isn't these wives better?
Yep.
Why don't we change the language?
Well, then we can't have it both ways, Damo, because we want people to get married before they carry. But like you just said a few minutes ago, a lot of men don't want to get married. So if a lot of men don't want to get married, they're not going to stop having sex because they don't want to get married. They just don't want to get married. So if they don't want to get married, then a lot of women are going to be baby moms instead of wives. So we can't have it both ways. Either the men want to get married or they don't. And if they don't want to get married, then we're not going to have the family structure.
I think that's a good point that you make, Faith, and I think that needs to be a conversation had in marriage, right? The conversation in marriage should be in that scenario. Well, what? If you decide to that you do want to step out, how are we going to handle this? Right? Because, yes, that's always a chance. It's highly likely that a lot of these dudes going to step out. And they are. And the reason why a lot of them are is because the women that they met when they were young aren't the women that they are with when they old. Well, dang, what do you mean by that? Well, if I met you and you was 140 pounds, and now 18 years later you 220, I didn't marry that person. It's on you to take care of your health. It's on you to push that extra plate away to say, yeah, that look good, but I need to push that away. It's on, man, people need to, I don't think they understand them vows. When they say for better or worse, this is the worst part. The cheating and all that is the worst part. It sucks. Whether it happens to a man or happens to a woman, it sucks. You know what I'm saying? But, when they say for better or worse, that's the worst. For rich or poor. You know what I'm saying? And sickness or health. When they say to death, what do people mean when they say to death do you part? What do they think you mean? That means until you die. That means y'all should be married no matter what's going on. I don't care if this dude was Denzel, 3 years later, he lost both legs. I don't care if this woman was Beyonce, you know what I'm saying? And now all of a sudden she had breast cancer, she ain't got no titties, and now she bald headed. 4 years later. That's the worst part of it. You know what I'm saying? But the reason why I think they need to change them wedding vows. They need to change them. I think they really need to throw that old one out, what they saying for rich and for poor and all that. They need to throw that out. Because that shit go way over people's head. Way over. You know what I'm saying? They forget them. The minute the honeymoon over, they forget them vows. Just like that. I think they need to change it. The whole white dress, all that stuff, do away with it. No, that's old. That's an old tradition for purity. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, if a person got 8, 9, 10 bodies, F that white dress. Get purple or black or make it the color you want. A lot of these old traditions, we just need to be honest with it. Because marriage, man, people's definition of it or what it's supposed to be, I don't even know anymore. Because when you look at the rates, it's fair. It's like playing Russian roulette now. Think about it.
Mm-hmm.
50 years ago, it was valuable. Today, it's like playing Russian roulette. Because the chances of it lasting, we ain't even talk about the chances of people getting married. The chances of marriages lasting is like below 40%, probably below 35%. Like, how many of us know somebody out of all the people we know? How many of us know people, at least 10 people, that been married 20 years? Think about all the people that you know. All of, and we know thousands and thousands of people. Think about the number of people we know. Family, friends, associates, co-workers that can say, not even 20. That's too much. 30 years.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Well, at the end of the day, Faith, if you don't watch a podcast where people talk about the positives, then they do make podcasts like that. 2, she's talking about, why don't we talk about women who got married and their husbands left? We could, but then this podcast won't be 10 minutes long. There's more negative than positive. So if you want to watch a podcast where all they do is talk about the positive, those podcasts are probably only about 10 minutes long because it's more negative than positive. Yes, there are women who got married, who had kids with their husbands, and the husbands left. But like Damo said, that's few, far, and in between. If all we talk,
women ain't getting married.
We would say, hello, y'all. Welcome to the Nashville Caveman podcast. All right, we'll see y'all next week. Like, it's not enough of the positive to have a podcast. That's just common sense. That's why we don't always talk about the pod. What we talk about is not enough positive to hold a podcast. So yes, there are women who are married, have kids by their husbands, and have lived happily ever after. There are women who are married and their husbands cheated and left with the stewardess. Yes, there are women who did it the right way. Y'all are not the majority. Y'all are not the majority. So
and that's what we're speaking on, the majority. I always speak from the point of the majority.
And that's why we try to
know there are exceptions to the rule.
From the majority. Because if the majority was positive, I don't even think me and Damon would have a podcast. What the hell would we talk about?
Hell no, we wouldn't even be having this conversation.
Yeah, I don't get it. But go ahead, Damon.
No, we wouldn't even be having this conversation.
Yeah.
Speaking of, because man, we done jumped on this. I want to talk about this whole Cuban thing. Cuba is in darkness, y'all. Mm-hmm. Their power grids have failed. That is just horrible, man. They're trying to get them up. You know, them tankers, they're not getting that oil from Venezuela like they once was. And so they're struggling. So without further ado, they street lights out, everything out.
Streetlights and storefronts across Cuba went dark Wednesday as the national power grid collapsed for the fourth time in less than a year. Cuba's grid operator said the failure occurred a little after 9 a.m. local time. Many residents across the island had already been experiencing daily blackouts of 16 hours or more. Reuters spoke to some of the 10 million Cubans who were without power.
I left work and I'm heading home to get everything organized. On social media, they say they are working on restoring power, so we have to wait because we have no other choice.
We cook with wood and charcoal, so we have to adjust our schedules. It's complicated, stressful, and frustrating too.
The grid failure follows a string of nationwide blackouts since late last year that plunged Cuba's frail and antiquated power generation system into near total disarray. The communist country has also been facing fuel, food, and other shortages amid its worst economic crisis in decades. The ministry said causes are being investigated for Wednesday's power outage and that the restoration process had begun.
Damn, street lights out? Well, there it is.
That is just sad. 10 million people, and that's why a lot of times when I'm on social media, I don't listen to a lot of people complain because people want to complain about how bad America is and the government and what's going on. Those are spoiled people. Go into countries like Cuba where you don't have power for 16 hours. You know, your PlayStation and Xbox ain't gonna work without power. You know, your microwave, your air fryer, your computer ain't gonna work. And you know, your Wi-Fi and all that stuff ain't gonna work without power. So imagine what the average American child at 16 would do in the dark for 16 hours. Because they're not going to read during the day when the sun is coming out. So what are they going to do at 16 hours of darkness? That's why I don't listen to people who complain all the time about things and things that's wrong with America and all this stuff, because you ain't never been nowhere where they don't even know the norm of having Wi-Fi and computers and internet. People in Cuba don't know all that. They just know electricity. You ain't never been to a place where you had to go outside and catch your food, start a fire, and cook it. So that's what I'm saying. A lot of problems we have in this country is that we are spoiled. And that's the problem. Technology, AI, science. We feel like this is all right, and it's not. We just been blessed to be in a country where we can advance. Now, go to Cuba, where they probably still living in the 1970s over there, and then you tell me what's wrong with America.
You know what, Sky? And, you know, I'm surfing the internet often, and I love to have dialect with people from other places. Mm-hmm. Because, man, I like to challenge my understanding as far as like where other people are from and how things work, so I can have an understanding of the world, right?
Right.
And one thing I've learned is a lot of the social programs that we have, they don't have. No. There is no welfare in their countries. There's no WIC program. No. There are no housing programs.
No.
You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So you have a kid over here you're in good hands.
That's
You have
right.
a kid over there, when you go to work, guess what? There is no child care programs to help you. You got to take your kid to work with you, or your parent gonna be stuck watching.
Mm-hmm.
So we got a lot of great things, man. There's countries all over the world, Africa, parts of South America. You know
Mm-hmm.
that, man. Throughout the day, at a certain point, they will cut the power grid for about anywhere from 5, I've heard, as long as 10 hours. So we ain't got to deal with that. We got it good. But
Mm-hmm.
I think if we keep at the rate we're going, one day we won't have it good anymore.
Right. So you think those women, like in Cuba and other countries like that, do you think they're better at selecting men to have children with when they know the circumstances?
No. I think anywhere in the world where the women choose themselves, no, because the women are horrible at choosing men. If they weren't, then guess what? There would be way more successful marriages, wouldn't it? Because let me say this, guy. Let me make this point. There's only a few small sliver of men actually impregnating a women. There's not like there's all these men doing it, right? There's a Nick Cannon, you know, a Future. How many of those guys do we know? Even in the hood, they got kids with multiple women. We know more men who don't have kids. I got 2 brothers that don't have kids in their 40s. There are a lot of dudes that do not have kids. They don't even want to have kids with a lot of these women. I'm just telling you. You know what I'm saying? And so, man, it's the same in their country. There's only a small few, and these dudes don't have their stuff together. They don't have no careers. They don't know how to work on cars. They don't know how to, work on the power grid. They're not electricians or plumbers. You know, they're dudes that, man, they don't even know how to keep a job. Oh, it's just his aura. It's something about him that, got my attention. Therefore, it needs to be a skill. A skill we have need to catch your attention. How responsible is this dude? Do we care about his credit score, or do we care more about his shoes?
Whether you're the first world country or third world country, I guess women are just bad at making choices as far
all
as
around the world.
marriages.
All around the world, man. If the fathers are not picking, you know what I'm saying? 9 times out of 10, because men, we know. I told my daughter this. I was like, when you date a dude, run them through me. Because, and like Ving Rhames said, I've seen it all, or I've done it all. Run it through me. I can tell you what kind of dude you're dealing with. And guess what they start doing?
Running through you?
Running them through me.
Mm-hmm.
And people be like, that's cringy. And I had somebody tell me that, and I'm like, you got 2 baby fathers. You did a horrible job. Maybe you should have let your dad do the same thing. Not to offend you. You know what I'm saying? But I'm the protector. Why wouldn't they run them through me? And I'm the protector.
God, that's old school. Nobody thinks like that no more. That's why.
No, which is why the way things are the way that they are. And it's never going to change. It's going to get worse.
You know what? I can agree with that. If you have daughters, yeah, you should meet the guy that they're potentially going to be with for the rest of their lives, right? Absolutely, yeah. I
should do the same with the daughters, with their sons. Why aren't you running? And you shouldn't do it in a way that as if you're the son's girlfriend. No, you need to vet her character. What kind of woman is this? But you need to be a good woman of character too.
That's why I said what I said, because you were saying women are bad at character and picky men. So if I'm the son and I bring home a woman, then if she's bad at it and she's bad at it, then who's gonna say who's bad? I'm still in a lose-lose. That's why I said the men should vet the daughters boyfriends instead of the women trying to vet the son's woman, because you just said women are terrible at picking people. So if you have a woman that's terrible at picking somebody, how's she gonna choose a woman for me?
Because she knows certain things about a woman that men overlook.
But that's what she might like. If my parent is terrible and I have a woman that's a spitting image of my mom, well then that's what she's gonna like. Like, yeah, you should be with her because she reminds me of me.
And you're right on that. And I think, but that goes back to why I said that the mom has to have good character. Because you're right. A lot of dudes pick women who are similar in character to their mother. They do. It's something about their mom, certain characteristics that they pick. But you know what I'm saying? A lot of like just because she's a good mom don't mean she's a good wife. And it goes the same for a husband. You know what I'm saying? But most dudes, they sacrifice their happiness for the family. A lot of dudes they just like, screw my happiness. This job sucks. My life sucks. But I got bills to pay and I got far more important things I need to take care of. That's more important than my happiness. Do you often hear, Sky, most men talk about their happiness? I'm talking about a man's man. I ain't talking about these, a lot of these beta males.
Yeah. But again, times is changing. I'm just watching it change right before my eyes.
Man,
so,
it's been changed,
it's gonna change. But yeah, sorry, Faith. But the topic was about Cuba not having electricity. And so my thoughts and prayers go out to the Cubans with no electricity, because I've been in Murfreesboro, I've been in Lebanon, I've been in other places, and hell, if I go 2 or 3 hours without power, especially at night, I'm not a happy camper. Because that means my AC ain't working, my heat ain't working, something ain't working that I need.
Could you imagine that in Cuba, the heat, the humidity?
Yeah, and your AC ain't blowing. Jesus. Yeah.
A church fan and a regular plug-in fan is not going to work in them places. No. Once you get past Kentucky, forget a fan. I'm just going to tell you. Once you pass the Kentucky line, forget a fan. The fan ain't going to work. Think about the refrigeration, Sky. We ain't even touched on that. What about the food, the meat?
Yeah, I was about to say that because they show some people with food trucks. What are they gonna do 16 hours without power? That food gonna go bad.
Leave that truck running until the gas run out, I guess. Put it on.
Man.
That's diabolical.
It is. I tell folks, this is the hell we live in, man. It's always something. It's something. Until they lay you in the ground, it's always something. And even if it's not happening to you, it's happening to people that you know. And even if it happens to people that you know, it's happening to the people that they know. It's always a 6 degrees of separation. Now, I don't know nobody from Cuba. I ain't never been to Cuba. But I still feel bad for those folks because I don't know how they got to that situation. But 16 hours probably a day or rolling blackouts. And then you don't even know when your 16 hours is coming. You good until you just wake up and you ain't got no electricity.
Here's what I don't understand, Sky, and I will never get for the life of me.
Mm-hmm.
How is it that a few people can have so much power and control? Millions. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of these people that are in positions of power, they should overrun the people that's, in power. And especially in places like Iran, where they was protesting and they murdered 40,000 people for protesting. You mean to tell me the rest of y'all million ain't going to run up in there? Because you're talking about 1 million people now. Now you really got a problem on your hand when you bum rush by millions. Y'all get away with that? Or in Cuba, where they got communism and socialism and they running out of food, you're starving. You know what I'm saying? Man, ain't no way that the leadership shouldn't be getting bum rushed. I don't even know how it's not possible. In any places. Maduro in Venezuela. We shouldn't have had to go get him. It's millions of y'all. Man, y'all should have bum rushed that dude. No, man, you ain't gonna live lavish. And I'm over here, man, digging out the trash. I'm sorry, man, it ain't gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? That cheese been on that wrapper for about 5 days in the heat, and I'm hungry. I gotta eat it. And you living, eating, lobsters and steak and stuff with a gated community, and I'm right here doodling on the sidewalk. Ain't no way in hell. I don't even know how a small body of government anywhere in the world can just run countries and control millions like that. I don't get it.
Mentally. They control you mentally, like slavery. It's a mental thing. That's why a lot of these countries have schools, because that's what schools are supposed to do. It's supposed to train your children to act a certain way and to be a certain thing. So that's why thousands of people can overrun millions of people, because if you catch them while they're young, let's say 6, and they're in the first grade, if you train them mentally, they will never have that thought to overrun the government. They'll never have that thought that there's a different way of living. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I agree. Huh?
You know, the truth in what you're saying is it happening here.
Yeah.
Guess who they're targeting? Guess who they are targeting when it comes to, sex?
Who is it?
Children.
Yeah.
They got these books. They got, these men who are transitioning to women, going to preschool and kindergarten classes during reading time, reading to these kids. They're targeting kids. They're trying to make it normal to them in their minds. So when they come of age, well, he, her, them, and they, and all these multiple pronouns are normal.
And that's the world we're heading towards.
You can't do that with high school kids. You got to do that with grade school kids.
Yeah, because even with these governments, Damo, even if you overthrow them, there's always going to be another regime that wants to overthrow you, and then another regime that wants to overthrow them. It'll always be a cycle. Somebody wants power and control. So even you overthrow the Venezuelan government currently, 10, 15 years down the road, there'll be another rebel or rogue group that's going to want to overthrow. That's what I'm saying. It's hell. Hell is the hamster wheel, right? It's you being on the wheel and you running and you're getting nowhere. Hell is the donkey chasing the carrot. It's right there in front of you, but you will never get it. Every step you think you're getting closer, you ain't getting nowhere closer. That's the hell we live in on this earth. It's a cycle that we will never, ever end or get close to.
I tell you, somebody else who's going through hell. People at the airports. The folks at the airport right now is going through absolute hell. 300 plus TSA employees have walked off of the job. And there are lines of people at the airport. Figure out, get home. So what further?
TSA is dealing with about 300 agents who have quit their jobs. This comes amidst the ongoing partial government shutdown impacting the Department of Homeland Security. The Department of Homeland Security is the umbrella government entity under which the TSA and a number of other government agencies function and are funded. And so we were talking about severe weather impacting travel lines and travel delays. This is also a factor here. The TSA secretary, or I should say the transportation secretary, Sean Duffy, he made the announcement of these 300 TSA agents quitting, made that announcement on Sunday. He also said that the number of TSA agent call-outs has doubled from what they were before the shutdown. Duffy said that agents have already missed a partial payment and now a full payment, a full paycheck, saying that the employees are those who, quote, don't make a lot of money. Duffy, the transportation secretary, blamed the funding stalemate on political gridlock in Washington. Funding for DHS lapsed in mid-February during a political standoff between Republicans and Democrats over federal immigration enforcement, because Department of Homeland Security is also the umbrella organization over immigration and customs enforcement and other immigration enforcement entities. One other wrinkle in this, though, over the summer, President Trump-backed Big Beautiful Bill was passed by Congress, and that earmarked a great deal of funding to immigration enforcement efforts. So those immigration enforcement entities are funded at this point. It's other agencies under the DHS umbrella that are feeling the immediate impact of this partial government shutdown, in particular agencies like TSA. We're going to continue to monitor the impact of that. And as we talk about wait times at TSA check-in lines and TSA security screening lines, you're looking live on your screen right now at the current weight situation at Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport, and you're seeing a lot of green numbers there. And that is good news, and it is a change from earlier this morning when Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson implemented a ground stop for a portion of the morning in response to those severe storms that were making their way through the metro, at times causing about 200 cancellations and delays. Right now, the time it takes to get through TSA security looking pretty good. Main checkpoint, 13 minutes. North checkpoint, 4 minutes. International and the south checkpoints, 1 minute, 3 minutes.
Well, it's good right now, but I tell you what, the longer that they walk out and they don't replace them employees, guess what? Them lines going to get longer and longer. It's going to get worse and worse. So I hope, man, that they come to some resolution soon. And but you can't have that going on at the airport.
That's crazy, because now this ties into everything, right? So you can't make people happy. So you had to take money for immigration laws, which cut into the TSA money, right? Or if you give TSA money, then you don't have enough money for the immigration laws. Then people are upset because ICE ain't deporting folks fast enough, right? And so at the end of the day, it's all a vicious circle, because the reason those 300 people are walking out is because of the immigration laws, right? Because if I run TSA, let's say maybe 10 years ago, and 300 of y'all walked out, I would have just hired 600 Mexicans under one social security number. But now, since you're enforcing that, I know that you cannot go and hire 600 Mexicans now because ICE is deporting them. So now I have the power to walk away and make things hell. See, it's all just checks and balances. 10, 15 years ago, before ICE was doing all this, employers are like, you can quit. I'll go find somebody who snuck into this country that will work half of what I'm paying you. Now you can't do that because they're deporting all these folks. So now these 300 people now, if they have a union, have the power to say, we're going to quit and walk away. It's just a cycle that we are always in. You will never make an entire population happy. Somebody has to lose for somebody to win. And right now, the TSA, the airports, and everybody's going through there is losing. But everybody who's for immigration, they're winning. It's just a balance.
I can't even imagine what we're going to be talking about next week. I said some stuff in the news and I said, oh, I just shook my head. Some stuff I try to stay away from, but man, dude, it is so much going on in the world. I think at the end of this all is a war on drugs. I think that's what this all, the bottom line is. It's a war on drugs. You know, everything that's going on with these oil tankers, everything that's going on with these immigrant truck drivers, now it being more complicated. They not only they revoke their license. I don't know if you guys, if I told y'all that. A lot of these immigrant truck drivers, they revoked their CDLs. They took them away. They had to retake the test, and the test is not going to accommodate them. The test is going to be in English. So they better speak English well, and they better fully understand. So that's what's happening. So all my black folks and all my white folks that, man, y'all need a job and y'all got y'all CDLs, they opened up the door for y'all. You better go get them jobs. Now y'all can bring them to the negotiating table and say, hey, yes, I will work for this, but I'm not going to work for it for the $13 you were paying him. No, sir, it's going to be $26 an hour.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. Now these truck drivers that want raises, they want to go from 71 cents a mile to $1 a mile. When they redo this test, and a lot of those guys can't pass them, and they have to be let go. Oh, now you can come in again. Timing is everything. So for some people, they don't like what's going on, but one man's trash is another man's treasure, and that's how this earth will always run. You just have to wait till you have what we call leverage. Now, the American people who work, who have CDLs, you now have leverage because these employers can't say, screw you, we can just go get these illegals or people that don't speak English to drive trucks. And I don't think I speak English to learn how to drive a truck. But now if the law is saying that they have to meet a certain standard to drive your trucks, now you have the leverage to say, okay, if you don't hire me, how are you going to make money? Because you're not driving these trucks, I'm driving. So here we go. This is another game that's going to be played in the game of life.
Man, I think you had the perfect line. One man's trash is another man's treasure.
Right.
I think that is a great way to end the show. Sky, man, you got we at the end, so do you got any events going on this weekend? What's new your way?
Nope. My body gets to take a rest this weekend, but next weekend or next week when we start, I'll be back in Illinois for the second time this month with a different company defending a different title. So we'll talk about that next Tuesday. But this weekend, no. That's why I'm saying I'm going to enjoy spring on the 21st when it comes. So no, I'm good. The only thing we're going to do, we're going to rock out tonight with the D-Bling radio show. If you have music, send it to me to sky.black@gmail.com. Listen to it at offtopradio.com. Stream it at offtoprecords.net. And we're going to have a good time between now and this weekend. Minus the cutting the grass.
Right now. Y'all know ain't nothing really going over my way. You know what I'm saying? Just, staying the course. Loving the growth of the show, man. The short story videos, I'm actually having real life fun with it. I got to cut up in the next couple days. By the time I cut new stuff going up, I'll be cutting up stuff from this show.
Right.
Always got work to do, man.
Let me give a shout out to everybody who can. First, give a shout out to Faith. Give a shout out to David Lackey. Give a shout out to Malfunction. And one of my friends, Karen, was like, he was trying to get on here to watch, but it wouldn't let him, Damo. For some reason, he was trying to. It wouldn't let him. We don't know on our end, Facebook end, his end. But shouts out to you. And shouts out to Blazing Summer Music Fest for being a part of us today, too. And congratulations, Malfunction, for being able to open for Method Man and Redman. I'm so proud of you. Congratulations.
Oh, that's dope. That's legendary. So,
yeah, that's dope. That's years of him work to get here.
Now I'm saying good stuff, Malfunction, man. That's dope.
Yeah, that's just years of him putting in work.
Mm-hmm. Malfunction 365.
Yeah, 365.
There we go.
Absolutely, yeah. Hey, that's success is preparation that meets opportunity. Malfunction 365 had been preparing for years and years, and when the opportunity happened, he was ready, and that's your success.
There we go, man. I just want to thank you guys for being here with us, man. We appreciate y'all. No matter, and I want to say this. There's going to be some, even with me and Sky, the one thing I love about Sky, I promise you, there are a lot of things probably that me and him see things differently, but the really about it is that, man, we don't despite us having different views on certain things, we don't let our emotions up and how we interact. I really do a perspective on stuff, and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? And me and him, no matter what we talking about, man, when we leave this thing, we go live our lives, man. We don't take this stuff personal. Once I leave the show at the show. Most people want to continue conversations with me about it. You know what I'm saying? It's cool. But I have to remind them that, man, I don't live my life like that. Man, life is too short. The next moment is not guaranteed. You could be here 1 minute, a truck come by, run you over, and the next you come.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like you always gotta just live life. People stress out over things that have no value. You know what I'm saying? And always look at it like this too. A lot of my views may come from experiences that I've been through, but your experience with it may be different. You know, and that's fine. So I may have a view, you may have a view, and that's fine. But at the end of the day, the only thing that really matters is, man, the result, how we feel about life, how we look at life.
That's true.
All that other stuff, it don't matter, man. The stuff that we can't handle, man, you literally have to give it to God. Some people don't even believe in them. You know what I'm saying? I'll be the first to admit. Many times I don't. And I still give it, be like, man, God, take care of this. I can't do this. I need you to come handle this.
That's right.
Well, we all have our strong and weak moments. But, if, you know, certain things you got to give to God, other stuff, you just got to let it go. And just be happy with life. Be happy that you got air, you breathing.
You healthy.
We overthink stuff.
That is absolutely true. And this podcast is for entertainment and information, you know.
And opinion.
That's what it is. And that's coming from a wrestler who cheer me and boo me. Yeah. You know, at the end of the day, even as a professional wrestler, there be people who cheer me, people who will boo me. Once I leave the stadium, I'm not that Sky Black anymore. You know what I'm saying? So I understand the whole dynamics. And hell, if me and Damo agreed on everything, again, it would be such a boring podcast. If we talked about all the positive things in the world, the podcast would only be 15 minutes. That's not the whole. It's not the whole point of the podcast. It's to have a dialect with each other. You know, a conversation.
Yeah, because nowadays there are no places for men to go have a conversation. We can't have them. And when we do, they don't want men. Men can't have thoughts. We can't have, you know, preferences. We can't have opinionated thoughts or anything. And to me, I think that's why we are in the state that we are in. I think more men need to step up and be leaders. I think any society that's being led by women, by majority, is, man, look at all of them. Egypt, all of them that ran by women are women able to get in, whether they got in somebody's bed or in somebody's head. They've crumbled. You know? And so, yeah, man, men need to step back into leadership positions, or else we're going to be the next great dynasty to crumble. It's already happened. We got men that don't even want to be men no more. We got dudes that rather lose their life over a street than the country. We got dudes that rather be fathers than husbands. So we already losing. We already crumbling.
Yep.
We got a lot to fix. And the only way I think that we can even get to the point of fixing a lot of this stuff is through conversation. Hard conversation. We ain't going to agree with everything that we say in the comments or amongst each other. But we still got to have a conversation.
And that's where it all starts. That's the foundation. That's the foundation. It's the conversation. You know, you can't have it in barbershops no more because, hell, they charge $50 just to walk in. That ain't even to cut your hair. That's just to walk in.
Yeah. People can't even afford to go to barbershops anymore. So, and then most people don't have a dad. So if you don't got a father to be able to have a conversation with, you can't. Who are you having a conversation with? Your friends who are just as dumb as you?
Yep, the blind leading the blind.
So, you know, I appreciate y'all, man. Thank y'all for being here, man. We love y'all.
Absolutely.
You know, I literally do. Even the people that they hate me out there, I love y'all anyway. You know what I'm saying? I can't be in control of everybody else's emotions. I can just control what I can control.
That's it.
And that's it.
It's always a blessing to see you, my friend, every Tuesday. I don't take this day for granted because, hell, we've been doing this almost 3 years. So 4 years ago, I had never thought that I would be in a position to be a podcaster. So thank you so much for allowing me to come on this journey.
Man, thank you too. I promise you, I didn't even think the same. And actually, I never even, until there was a specific person that came by and put that seed in my head, I never even thought about it. I never even thought about it. I was thinking audio. I wasn't even thinking video.
Right.
You know, that's why it's good to meet new people that challenge your thoughts and make you think about something different, because it could change your life in a small or a big man. And so that's important. But not as important as y'all being here. We appreciate y'all being here. We thank y'all. And until next Tuesday, peace, we out. Y'all be safe, man, all right?
All right.